Hey everyone, Aesop's here. Today I got a really important video for you to show you guys how Sky Mavis lied to you about the AXS unlock schedule. Let's get into it. Okay, let's get into it, guys. Let's start with the white paper where they lied and I would argue deceived you guys as to the AXS unlock schedule. So as you can see here, we see the allocations for the AXS token, and down here we have the issuance dates. This is the key contention issue of what they got wrong on this white paper. So as you can see here, the first one starts on November 4th, then exactly 3 months later, or I should say 3 months in on the 4th day of the 3rd month, you have February 4th unlock, May 4th, August 4th. Would you guys be surprised if I told you that these dates are wrong? Well, if we hop over to Twitter, Max Brand did an awesome job actually explaining what's going on here and what the actual unlock dates are. First of all, Max points out the start time for the smart contract unlock schedule. We actually follow what he says here and we click this link and we open it up and we can see the smart contract here for Axie Infinity token unlocks. When we go to start time, we get this unit of measurement that doesn't make sense to me, at least it didn't originally. However, when we actually plug it into what Max shows us, you can see what this means. As you can see here, this is no normal time or date stamp, this is a Unix timestamp. And when we actually plug this number in from the smart contract, we get November 4th, Wednesday, November 4th. Okay, no problem, that matches up with the white paper. So now when we hop over to Etherscan, we can actually see the time difference between unlocks. So when we go over to Etherscan, we click the see more, you get this big chunk that probably makes no sense to a lot of people. It didn't make sense to me originally. But if we look at this last little bit, this ED4E00, this actually, when we convert it over to time, shows the time between unlocks. Max points this out here so we can spare ourselves doing the math. Thank you for that, Max. But you can see we get this number, which is in terms of seconds between unlocks. Then minutes, hours, days, which converts over to 6 months based on a 30-day per month time. Now this would make sense for some of these allocations because you can see from, for example, the advisors, you have a 6-month period between the allocations. So there's a gap of 3 months where they don't take an allocation, and then the next 3-month period they do take an allocation. Now when Max actually takes this correct timestamps down to the second and adds them up to then figure out what the unlock schedules are actually supposed to be, you can see that dates we get here are different than what's on the white paper, and they start to get dramatically different pretty quick. So to start us off, we have November 4th, which does match up to the white paper. You guys can see that here. November 4th was the first one. Then we hop back over. The second one's February 2nd. Well, it's supposed to be February 4th. Okay, it's off by a little bit. Maybe they rounded a couple days, whatever. Then we go to May 3rd, which again, off by about a day. But then we get over to August, and it becomes August 1st when it's supposed to be August 4th according to the white paper. So we're pretty consistently off here 1 to 4 days. Now this white paper would lead you to believe that it's the 3rd month and the 4th date of that 3rd month consistently. And so you would expect this next one to be the 4th, the 4th, the 4th, so on and so on. However, when we actually look, you can see it progressively gets further and further and further away from the 4th to the point where by the time we hit month 30, we're talking the 23rd. By the time we hit month 39, we're talking the 18th. We start to get dramatically off. Now this unlock actually gets progressively further and further off. You can see we start out when we're only 1 to 3 days off. But as we start getting down to these further months, we're talking being off by almost 2 weeks at a time, which is dramatically different than what the white paper implies. Because when you look at this, you see November 4th, February 4th, May 4th. You would assume that it's the 3rd month on the 4th. So you would assume again, 4th, 4th, 4th. That's not at all accurate. You actually get off by almost 2 weeks according to if you follow the white paper. Now, a lot of people are upset because there was a big unlock that just happened yesterday, and people are going, wait a second, this should be on May 4th. Why is this happening early? Well, this actually matches up with the dates that are shown when we do this correct, fully mathed out down to the second. However, again, as I said, the white paper is deceptive. Now, Max says that this could just be because they want it to be easier for people to understand instead of having to go through this kind of complicated sheet of what times and dates the unlocks actually happen. However, I would argue that's not the case. And the reason why is because, again, you're saying by August 4th, you're off by 3 days. That's not a simple, we're off by a couple hours, so we're going to round to the next day. It's nothing like that where it's a little bit easier for people to understand. You're talking you're off by 3 days. And by the time we hit further in the future, you're talking off by 2 weeks. At the end of the day, I would argue that Sky Mavis owes the community a big apology for this because at the very least, this white paper is deceptive as it leads you to believe that it's going to be consistently on the 4th when it actually changes dates every single time. If you guys got value out of this video, be sure to share it with the people that you know so they can know what to expect for these AXS unlock schedules and not be caught off guard by this deceitful white paper.